welcome, and happy Easter. It's Easter Sunday morning, and I want to offer a meditation on resurrection. So we're going to use the gifts of imagination and a sense of wonder. So before we begin, let's just gather ourselves in by closing our eyes and sitting upright and just focusing on our breath, just as a way to recall our intention to open to God. So on each in-breath, just opening to God. And each out-breath, let everything go. So then you can keep your eyes closed if you find you're comfortable with that. And we're going to imagine Jesus in the tomb, alone, in the dark, lifeless. And on the third day, Jesus' heart begins to stir ever so slightly, but surely, as the breath of God breathes new life into Christ's heart. And God's breath breathes through Jesus, infusing his beingness within his body. Until Jesus himself begins to breathe, breathing this breath of God throughout his being and body. And Jesus has a new consciousness, an awakening of consciousness. And his eyes open. And his body begins to stir ever so slightly with this life-giving breath of God breathing through him. And Jesus removes the shroud and looks into the darkness and sees with a new consciousness the possibility of hope and new life, even in the darkness. And Jesus' body stirs and he gains strength with this life-giving breath and Spirit of God within him. And he stands and he walks toward the large stone that keeps him in this darkness and lifeless tomb. And he removes the stone and he walks out into the light of day, fully alive, full of new life, full of the light and Spirit and love of God. And Jesus is the wounded healer and desires to be compassionately present to others in their woundedness with this healing Spirit of God. And Jesus' new life gives life to us in our woundedness. And then I invite you to shift your imagination so that it becomes you who is in a tomb of darkness. You who are alone in the dark, feeling lifeless. Perhaps you have felt crucified yourself at some point in your life by life circumstances or the condemnation of others or condemnation of yourself. You feel lifeless, despairing, heavy-hearted, without hope. And now imagine turning to God, emptying oneself so that you can receive this breath of God within you that too will stir your heart with new life. That this breath of God within you will infuse your breath and being and body. That this breath of God within you gives you a new consciousness. And stirs your body so that you can open your eyes and see in your darkness that there is possibility for new life and hope. And your body gains strength and you stand up. And you remove the stone that has kept you in this darkness, whatever stone that is in your life. And you walk out into the light of day, filled with the breath and spirit of God, knowing that the compassionate heart of Jesus is within you, that the healing energy of God is within you, and you have become the wounded healer. And you move out to others in their woundedness and to yourself in your woundedness, offering healing companionship, knowing that the source of your love and compassion is the presence of God within you. Amen. I'd like to dedicate this meditation to Sister Peggy McFarlane. She's the sister of St. Martha. And Sister Peggy died yesterday. And before I knew that she had passed away, I had been spending time in a retreat, a personal retreat at home. In my spiritual journal, I was writing about her. I was writing about her beauty and spiritual depth and how her face radiated as she was telling me about an experience of feeling and sensing God in her room, seeing the presence of God in her room, and her face radiated as she told me this. And so because I was a little nervous about doing this video, I thought, I'm going to imagine Sister Peggy's face, Sister Peggy sitting in front of me, and then I'm speaking to her. And then I found out that she had passed away. So I say, Happy Easter, Sister Peggy. Happy Resurrection. Thank you.